There are so many quality of life issues in this city that right now are going unaddressed by our mayor. He's off fighting a national ideological war, and meanwhile our transportation system is a disaster. We have traffic congestion has gotten much worse in the last few years, going unaddressed. You have a homeless crisis that is epic, that has increased tremendously under his watch. You have an education system where his answer is to just pour more money at the problem and not actually get results or change what's not working and to make it better. And you have a tremendous amount of spending that shows a disregard for the taxpayer, increasing the budget by 20%, actually almost 25% in just the 3.5 years that he's been there. It's just, he's adding tens of thousands of people to the payrolls, and while these quality of life issues like littering, decriminalization of urination in public, these are the quality of life issues that I think New Yorkers care about, and they're seeing it deteriorate here in the city because he's off fighting a national ideological war instead of focusing on his job, which is to manage the city. In New York High School was very special to me. I was involved in the National Honor Society. I was the senior class president. That was my first election. I was 16 years old when I first started getting involved in politics. My mother wanted me to have something to do, and my mother's a Cuban refugee, so for her democracy is very important in getting involved in electing our leaders, and so she wanted me to just volunteer. I worked at the Gap part-time while I was when I was in New York High School. My first job was at Modell's, which I think we're going to next. So I've started working at a very young age, as soon as I was allowed to do so legally. I worked at Modell's first. I was a cashier there, and then I went to the Gap during my years in college. I was working part-time as I went to school, either full-time or part-time, depending on the year. So I think I have a lot of good ideas for the city. I think that I've been someone who is willing to shake things up, to stand up against the status quo, and that's what I intend to be doing.